Topspotusa.com.
Hey, what's up? This is Mike Acerbo, and you are tuned in to Topspot USA.
Yeah, what's going on? It's Frankie Nobile at topspotusa.com. Today here with indie folk rocker Mike Acerbo. How you doing, man?
Hey, Frankie, how's it going?
It's going. It's exciting times down here in South Florida, but I take it you have some exciting times on your hand right now with your release of The Search next week.
Yes, I'm very excited. It releases on Valentine's Day, February 14th, so anybody out there can buy it for their boo.
Well, talk to me about it.
Well, it was pretty much 10 years in the making, the album. I started making it around 2000, 2001. A few of the tracks, including Trophy, which you're going to see the video for, I started back in 2001 in the studio in Brooklyn. And then I kind of stopped playing and writing for a period of time and came back to it a couple of years ago and completed the project. So I'm pretty excited that it's actually complete.
Very cool. Now, I noticed that in just doing some research up on you. What is that like to just not want to do music, to just stop doing it, then all of a sudden, just be sparked, to do it again, and now this is what you're doing. Like, what was that time period like?
Well, when I had stopped, I was having a lot of personal problems at the time, and so it was pretty easy to stop. The music actually was just causing a lot of anxiety and frustration. So it was easy to stop, and I kind of just needed to get my life in order and get, your basic 9-to-5 thing, which was great and worked for a while. But, as any musician would probably tell you, or artist would tell you, it always comes back, when you least expect it. It comes back, whether it's just one night where you go to the piano and you sit down and you start to play and you start writing a song and suddenly you remember how good that feels, or if it's a person that inspires you, which in my case it was. There's a track on the album called Robbie. It was written about a friend of mine who I lost at a very young age, and I bumped into his mom, and she asked me about the song, and she said, when am I going to hear it? And that was kind of like my light bulb moment where I thought, I really should just go in and record this for her. And because I did that, I decided to proceed and record the rest of the album. So that's really how I got back into it.
Very cool. Yeah, a lot of motivation going into it, but I did hear that track. I dig it. It's pretty cool. For those who've never heard you before, let's talk a little bit about your sound.
I think I think my sound is pretty mixed. It's definitely, I would say, an indie sound, but there are elements of country, there are elements of Irish, there's a little classic rock, there's a little pop, there are even elements of classical music, I think, just by the use of the instruments on the record. And, I kind of describe it as a dark fairy tale. Just the textures of the album sound, I think, a little ethereal, and then the folk element is very much a storyteller. And I like to tell stories, whether it's about other people or whether it's about my own journey, or whether I'm interpreting a piece of literature. That's kind of how I write. So it's kind of a combination of, I think, of all those different sounds.
Very cool, and I like the fact that you are a storyteller, because a lot of that gets lost in today's music of just writing a catchy hook, and then you have somebody that repeats it over and over again. It's refreshing to see people that actually go for that storytelling kind of thing. But who are some of your inspirations? What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to everything. I love listening to a lot of indie stuff on internet radio. That's really where I get a lot of inspiration from nowadays. But I grew up on classic rock. I'm a huge Fleetwood Mac fan. Bruce Springsteen, I think, is terrific. Right now, I think the best songwriter out there is Patty Griffin. And, those are more my folk leanings. Mm-hmm. But just in terms of storytelling, and I think her voice is beautiful. I love Kate Bush. I grew up on The Smiths and The Cure and 10,000 Maniacs. Currently, I'm listening to Frightened Rabbit, Imogen Heap. I love Jonesy. So, my tastes are pretty random. I like things that are a little less of center, or a lot less of center, but that have, which I kind of feel my music is less of center, but it's accessible. at the same time.
You know, you're releasing the search on Valentine's Day. Is there any reason that you chose Valentine's Day, or did that just kind of happen? Or
I decided to release the album in the first quarter of this year just so that I could give myself a chance to actually get noticed. Because most bands really don't put anything out, and I figured I would do it in February, and a big date in February is the 14th, so I thought I'd give myself a Valentine's gift. So that was pretty much the reason for that.
There you go. There you go. And these days, I don't think it's the end-all, be-all to be signed. You know, as long as you have a decent work ethic and good business sense, you can pretty much do it all on your own.
Yeah, I mean, that's a terrific thing about music these days, is that you actually can do it on your own. I mean, the market is very saturated, I think, but that doesn't matter. I mean, I'm currently working full-time, and I'm doing music full-time. So anybody out there listening can do the same thing.
Right on. Now, what are some of the future plans that you may have coming up?
Well, there's the release of the album, which is terrific, and I'm going to start playing out live locally here in New York City, and then I'm going to start working on touring after that. So definitely keep an eye out for me in your city, because that is the next exciting thing that I'm up for. And we probably are going to shoot a video for another track on the album, Where the River Meets the Sea, and that should happen sometime this spring. So things are kind of grooving along.
Sweet. So, you know, for those that want to, stay in touch, figure out, what you're all about and all that stuff, where can they find you online at?
You can find me on Facebook. Just look me up, Mike Acerbo. That's A like apple, C-E-R, B like boy, O. You can check out my website, mikeacerbo.com. You can also actually pre-order the record now at bandcamp.com. And then on the 14th, it'll be out on iTunes and CD Baby and pretty much everywhere else you can get it digitally.
Everywhere. Well, Mike, I definitely appreciate you hanging out with us today on TSUSA Radio. Wish you best of luck, and we'll be talking in the future.
Thank you very much, Frankie.
Topspotusa.com